recording started. Oh, what's going on here? There we go.
All right, there we go.
Sorry.
Good morning, everybody. We are on Daf, today's Daf Nun Dalet. We're on the top of Nun Dalet, top line. We got to the two dots there. So we were discussing different things that animals may go out with. So we said, Harachelim, Yaitzas, Kvulos. They go out Kvulos, so we didn't really explain these terms. The Gemara was going to explain them all. As we'll soon see also the next couple of Mishnayos, it's going to basically do the same format. So my kvulos. So what are kvulos? So what does it mean that the female these use, right? They can go out with kvulos. So my kvulos. Right. So go ahead and tie down the tails down over the females in order that the males will not mount them. So my mashma the high kavul lishna delo avid pere. So where do you see that this lashon of kavul means to not be fruitful, right? Not, for them not to produce, for them not to be mounted. Where do you see that? In other words, it means that where they're not fruitful. The pasuk says, "Ma erim ha'ela asher asati li achi vayikra eretz kavul ad hayom hazeh." So it says, "What is the city he gave me?" Right, and he said, "This is eretz kavul." So it's ad hayom hazeh. So my eretz kavul. What do you mean? He called it eretz kavul. So Rav Huna, shahayu ba b'nei adam shemuchavlim b'kesef hazav. These people, they were wrapped, using a couple with silver and gold, and because they were wrapped in silver and gold, right? We'll soon say. So Amar le Rava ihachi hainach siv yishar beinav mipnei shemuchavlim b'kesef hazav. It says, well, there, right? That what are they? Now, is these people, right? Do they not please him? And I was why? Because they were mechuvel b'kesef. And I was why was he displeased with people? Because they were mechuvel b'kesef, because they had a lot of silver and gold. So it means lo yeshu beinav. Right? It says because they had too much. They were covered with gold and silver. They were not straight in his eyes. So yeah, kevan that series since they were wealthy mafanki, right? They were very particular. They're mafunak, like spoiled. They wouldn't work. So we see that they were not productive because they had so much silver and gold. And we see, so the word kabul comes from non-productive, and therefore the tail mechvolos, the word comes from they don't want the animals to reproduce. So he says over there. It says Eretz Chaimtim Haisav. Amai Karei Kabul. No, really, it was a land of Chaimtim. As Rashi explains, Chaimtim is Malcha Mizbakas, right? It was salty and it was cracked. And Haisav Amai Karei Kabul. So why would it be called Kabul? The Mishtagra Ba Kara Ad Kavla. Because when a person would walk on it, I guess it was soft. It would go down almost to his ankles. People say Ara Mechavla Deloy Avdi Pera. People would say that it basically was soft land. It was a Kabul land. They would go to their ankles, that they wouldn't go ahead and reproduce. So we see also another Shana Kabul, went down to the ankles because the land did not produce fruits. And then we said the animals, the Rechelim Kivat Kivunos, so my Kivunos. They used to go ahead and cover the milos. The milos is basically the white wool. When the animal was young, it was born, right? The wool was very white, so they used to try and protect the very white wool upon the sheep, and they would cover it in order that it wouldn't get dirty and from the air. Right? Seis, a type of tsaras, is like the color of white. So my tzemer lavan doesn't mean tzemer lavan. So amarav vivi barabaye kitzemer naki ben yema shemachavnin oisel lemilas. Right, like a 1 day old sheep who was born that its wool is extremely white, which is known as milas, and therefore they used to go ahead and protect. And after the animal, they would shear the animal, they would cover it again in order that when it would start to grow, it would remain, remain white. Va'izim yoitzes tzuros. We saw this machlokas a couple times actually, and the goats will go out tied up. Tied up, referring to the udders, and there was basically two different purposes for tying the udders. One was to stop it from lactating. The other one was to collect the milk that comes out, right? And one was tied real tightly. In other words, if you want to stop it from lactating. And the other one was a little bit looser as long as it stayed on, so, to collect the milk. So Itmar Rav Amar Halach Rabbi Yehuda, halachas like Rabbi Yehuda, who was a third opinion, who says it depends, according to Rav, it depends what the reason was tied for. If it was tied very tightly, then it's mutter because it won't fall off, it won't be carried by the owner. But if it was loose, then it might fall off and it might be carried by the owner, and therefore they'll say it's aser. And Shmuel Amar halacha Rabbi Yosi, and Shmuel says halacha is like Rabbi Yosi, who said all these things are aser to go ahead and go out. Some say they had this limit of Rav and Shmuel, not necessarily saying who the halacha is like, rather just stating the halacha. And in other words, Rav Amar liyavesh mutter. Rav says liyavesh if the what's it called, the pouch is put underneath the udders in order to go ahead and dry up the udders, then it's mutter because it's very tight. But now if it's together the chalav, then it's aser. Shmuel Amar echad zev echad zechad. Shmuel says no, both ways they're aser. Viki devasi la aha, and some say Rav and Shmuel version like this: Izim yetzas tzuros liyavesh l'chalav. Right, the goats can go out tied up in order to go ahead and dry the udders because it's very tight and it won't fall off. But to gather milk, it's not mutter because it's not as tight. And this should be the halacha. How do you know whether we know what the reason why it's tied down? So how can you just go ahead and people always, oh, it's mutter because I'm doing it to go ahead and and leave it tight in order that it doesn't have any milk come out. Right? And since you can't tell which one it is, therefore we say all cases are aser. Amar Shmuel, and says Shmuel, and says Amar Rav Yehuda, Amar Shmuel, halach Rav Yehuda, who says they are all aser because we can't differentiate. And Kiyaser Avin, however, when Avin can, Amar Rav Yehuda, halach Tanakama, who says that all types of pouches, whether it's tight, whether it's tight in order to stop it or in order to gather the milk, those are all permitted. Fine. Now Mishnah says, Ubama ein yaitza. Now, what can the animals not go out? What is considered to be a muscle? What is considered to be carrying a load? So lo yatza gamal mitutelis, right? A camel should not go out with a mitutelis, right? Rashi brings down over here two different meforshim explanations. One is tied by this covered, sort of tied from the tail. However, he brings a second opinion. He says that the one that's near Beinai is referring to basically a mardas, right? A saddlecloth. A saddlecloth we had last time. We discussed in the first Mishnah. So a saddlecloth on a camel, right? It should not go out because it'll fall off. And also it should not go out akud and ragul. Those are different ways of the legs being tied up. We'll soon see in terms of how they're tied up. In order, they used to tie them up that in order they wouldn't run away. And if they're tied up, perhaps it will come off, and then the owner will carry it. But we'll soon see what type of tied up it is, whether two legs to each other, the leg to itself, front to the back, side to side. So all the animals, also another halacha. They shouldn't go ahead and lead your animals. You should not tie them one to another. In other words, you tie them all in a row, and the guy, leads one, and there's 5 connected behind him. But if he can have multiple camels and have all the leashes in his hand, and however, the condition that he shouldn't go ahead and tie it together, and we'll soon see what that was referring to. So the Gemara will explain all this part of the Mishnah. Let's see the Gemara. Satana lo yotza hagomal b'mitutelas hakshur lo b'znavo. A camel should not go out with a mitutelas, right? This saddlecloth that was tied to its tail. But if it's just tied to the tail, then he won't, because then it could still come off. And however, if it's tied both front and back to it, then it will come off. Then it will stay on because the animal, if it won't shake it off because it'll be too painful. And therefore, if it's tied to both, it will be mutter. And Amar Rab Rav Huna Yaitza Gomel to tell us Hakshur La B'Shel Yasa. Right? You can also go ahead and even if it's tied, I guess back to its placenta. Right, I guess it was coming out, it was tied there, and also that causes pain and discomfort. So therefore, once again, the animal wouldn't go ahead and shake it off to have it fall off because that will pull, I guess, on the hanging placenta. I guess after a birth. And lo akud lo ruggle. All right, now we have to define what is akud, what is ruggle. Both of them really mean that they are like tied up. All right. So Amar Rav Yehuda, akud. So there's 2 terms. There's akud and ruggle. So akud is akidas yad v'regel ki Yitzchak ben Avram. So akud means just like akedas yitzchak, right? When they tie basically the hands to the feet, right? Either it's behind, right? Or in the animals, they wouldn't be behind it, but they basically tie, the front to the back, right? So that is called akud, right? And so basically they tie the animals like that together, and therefore, I mean, obviously a little loosely so it can still walk, but this way it can't really run away or break things or get too wild. So that's akud, according to Rabbi Yehuda. Akud is Kiyasa ben Avram. And ragol shalichov yado al gabe zara v'yikshur. And ragul means that is basically you shouldn't go ahead and bend its hand to its leg. In other words, basically the front leg, to basically bend it. So basically it's like a three-legged animal now. It's not really running anywhere. So you take one of the legs and basically, bend the leg or the front leg, right, which is called yado, all the way to the back, and that's the way it's tied up. So that was according to interpretation according to Rabbi Yehuda. These cases are mutter because if it falls out, then the owner will go ahead and carry it. So Meisvi has a kasha. Akud. What is the definition of akud? Shtei yad avrayim v'shegayim. That akud means either the hands are tied to each other or the legs are tied to each other. And ragul shel yichov yado agabi zarav yikshor. And ragul, right, is the same way as we defined before as you shouldn't go ahead and tie the front leg to itself. So you before said akud means just like akedas yitzchak. Over here it seems to be that either you tie the two front legs together to the back legs together. The answer no. Who damar kaitan, he holds like this time. At this time of the brayso akud akedas yad regel. Oh, shtei yadayim v'shtei reglayim. So akud could be two things. Either you tie the hands to the feet, just like a kedas yitzchak, or you tie the hands together or the legs together. And ragul shel yichov yado al gabe zarav v'yikshor. And ragul means that you shouldn't go ahead and bend the front leg, to the top of it and then tie it together. So the Gemara says vakati lo dami. It's still not similar, right? No, it's included there. So bishul the ratio to seifa. I understand the ratio which is like a kedas yitzchak and the seifa which said it's bending the front leg to itself. So nicha works well. However, mitziyasa, but the middle case, in other words, Rabbi Yehuda never said a scenario where the front legs were tied to each other or the back legs are tied to each other, and that was included in that brayso. So kasha, Elohu damar kaitan, Rabbi holds like this time. Akud akedas yad v'regel ki yitzchak ben Avram. Akud means akedas yitzchak is tied together, hands and feet tied together, just like yitzchak ben Avram. And ragul shel yichav yado al gabe zarav v'yikshor. And then ragul means that you should not go ahead and bend the front leg to itself and tie it that way. So therefore, that would be exactly as the interpretation of Rabbi Yehuda. Fine. Then we said, lo yikshor gamal, you should not go ahead. A person should not leave basically a line of camels all tied together and walk with them on Shabbos. So my time was the reason. Rav Ashi, command the azil lechinba. It looks like a person's going to the market to sell them. So therefore, it appears a person's doing commerce. Therefore, they go ahead and they regulates you not to do that. Aval machnis, but he said he can go ahead. He can have all the leashes in his hand. Some Rav Ashi, and we said over there, however, on the condition that lo yichroch, you shouldn't go ahead and basically tie them together. So Amar Rav Ashi, lo yishanu el in kilayim. This halach was said, what do you mean kept time together? Only for the purpose of kilayim, right? Kilayim is, like there's two parts of kilayim, like shatna is one, there's a couple of them, right? But one is that a person should not go ahead and wear, right, or have upon his body wool and linen. And another interpretation is also we have a kilayim by plowing, right? You can't have two mixed species plowing. So the question is maybe kilayim. There's two ways here. Maybe there's a wool and linen straps or leashes, and maybe those are tied together, and maybe it's on his hand. That would be considered shanas. Or maybe it's another thing. Maybe he's walking with the camels, and something maybe one of the loads that is being pulled. So maybe a person is plowing with the animal. It's like mixed plowing. Let's see. This is the Elin and kilayim. Kilayim demai. What type of kilayim? Ilim and kilayim the adam. If you're saying kilayim of a person, adam mutter im kulam lichrosh limshech. You're going to say that he himself is involved with the kilayim. In other words, him and an animal are plowing or pulling something. That is actually mutter, because that what you say two species are usher, right? The Torah says not just a shore, not just an ox and a donkey, but any two species. It's not referring to a man. Man is mutter with all of them. Ela kilayim dechavalin, rather the kilayim of the ropes. When it goes ahead and just ties something together, a knot, right? That's not considered a chibur. That would not be considered to constitute basically a stitch to be clothing, to be considered to be shabbos. So the says no. Liyelim kilayim dechavalin. Really, it is kilayim of the ropes. This is what it means to say ubavad shelo yichroch v'yikshor. In other words, you shouldn't go ahead and tie it together. In other words, fold them together and tie it together. And therefore, it would be basically like a double knot, right? Kicha v'kshira, and as Rashi says, b'shtei tchifos, right? There's two different stitches. Two different stitches basically would constitute clothing, and therefore those two would constitute clothing on himself, and therefore we have wool and linen. And Amar Shmuel says, in order that it should not hang from his hand, the other end of the rope, at least a tefach, because it's hanging that it appears that he's carrying the rope, and people might not see that he's he's just pulling a leash, but maybe they'll consider it carrying a rope. We have a brisa that was taught from Tana de Yishmael that it was 2 tefachim, not 1 tefach. So Rabbiya, Sahash Damar Shmuel tefach, but Tana de Shmuel tefachim. Now that we heard that Shmuel said 1 tefach, and the Yeshiva Shmuel said 2, it was taught Tana de Shmuel 2. So Shmuel, it must have been that someone asked him, and someone said he should only do it up to a tefach, but really he held 2 tefachim. But when he was showing someone Halach L'Maisa, you don't want to get close to constitute carrying, and therefore he basically showed him only a tefach, and try and keep it under a tefach. Tanya, turn the pages. Tanya, it says it should be from the ground to tefach. In other words, no, that which he's pulling it, he should make sure that he's pulling it hard enough that the rope is not sagging where it's within tefach of the ground. Because if it's sagging within tefach of the ground, it looks like basically the camel is over here. And then the other rope that he's carrying is not really attached to the animal. It's more likely attached, to the ground, or that he's just dragging a rope. So therefore, he should be careful when he's going ahead and pulling the leash that there is no, that he pulls. There's no slack. It should be at least off the ground a tefach. Fine. Now Mishnah. Mishnah says.
Mishnah.
There you go. So ein chomer yaitze b'mardas b'zman she'en kshur lo. We actually saw this earlier. So we saw it the other way when it is allowed to go out, but it says that you're not allowed to go out. The mardas bizman she'ena kshura. Well, you can't. A donkey cannot go out if while the saddlecloth is not tied to it, even from it's not tied from before Shabbos. And also now with a bell. Right. It was also earlier. Even if it's clogged up, it doesn't make noise. It still it should not go out with the bell. It also should not go out with a ladder upon its neck. We'll soon see what it is. It's sort of like a brace. Or something also for the leg, also to keep the legs from becoming injured. All these things should not go out because they can come off easily and then be carried by the owner. And also Tarnagom should not go out with strings attached to their feet, which help identify it, as the Gemara will say. And also not their strap on their feet, also, so they don't go ahead and cause damage. And also the male animals can't go out with some sort of cart underneath their tail, so that it does not become damaged. And the ewes should not go out with chanunos. The Gemara will explain all these terms. Also, an egel, the calf should not go out with the gimun. The Gemara will explain what that is. The low para ba'or. And also, a para should not go with the or, with a leather piece, basically underneath the udders, to protect it from we'll see different insects or whatever. And loy parba or hakaifer, right? Also that which is like a or from a kaifer is a type of sheretz, Rashi says, right? I guess so. These animals that go ahead and attach themselves to cattle and on the udders. Also should not go ahead with a strap between its horns on the top of paras. However, paras Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, however, the cow of Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah used to go out with a strap between its horns, not with the intention of Chamim, not the approval of the Chamim, and we'll soon see what that means. So now we're going to explain literally line by line of the Mishnah. So Zak the Gemara. So my time. So for the first one, what we said with the donkey should not go with the mardas. We said earlier. Because we said Tubat earlier, as Rashi points out over here, that it has to be tied up from Erev Shabbos, right? Because therefore, if it's not tied from Erev Shabbos, you see it's really not necessary for the animal. If it's really not necessary for the animal, then why is it walking around with it outside on Shabbos? It's like it's carrying, it's a muscle, it's not really necessary for the animal. And also, what's the reason I shouldn't go bell even if it's plugged up? Does make noise? A person who's looking like he's going to a marketplace. Now with a ladder on its neck. So Amarav Huna Sabei Luai. So he said basically it's a right. You put it basically on the you tie it to the cheek. Right, you tie it to the cheek. It's a little ladder. Nor if it has some sort of a wound, so it doesn't eat at it or bite at it or make it worse. So therefore they put a ladder on the neck so it can't really turn its head. Nowadays they have like those for the dogs they have those like round those cones they put around their heads.
Right.
So they don't bite. It's a very similar contraption. and they have these contraptions. In other words, and this would not be permitted on Shabbos. And also not a Ritzu B'Shragla. The Avdilei Legizra. They used to go have it Legizra. In other words, they have it in order to go ahead and, I guess, protect the leg. If they would have basically small steps, they would bump into each other. So therefore, they would protect the hoofs from one another, and they would basically have these covers on the legs, and those are forbidden on Shabbos. The Targum will not go out with chutin. The avdilei simana keichidol, right? They used to put little simanim, a little string or something. Each, I guess, owner would put their own different unique string on it in order they'd be able to identify their chickens. However, strap the avdilei keichidol lisabrimani. In order they should not bring kalim, right? They go ahead and they kick around. Perhaps they would break vessels, so they used to go ahead and attach, so they couldn't, step too big, and therefore, however, those are forbidden to go out on Shabbos. They can't go on the Agola. I know they shouldn't go ahead and cause damage to their tails. I guess it would drag down upon thorns, whatever they walk over. So therefore, to protect it, they would put some sort of cover underneath it, contraption underneath it to protect it. And that was also forbidden on Shabbos. So what does chanunos mean? So Yosef Rav Acham Bar Ula Kamed Rav Chizda. Yosef V'Komar Misha Shegoizinoisa. When these to go ahead and shear the animals and remove the thick wool from it, they used to go ahead and basically take some oil, some pouch or whatever of oil, and basically put it on the head, the animal, like warm oil, right, and put on its forehead in order that it should not become cold. Well, you're making it like a marukfa. You're giving cover to this animal, like you're treating this animal like it's royalty, right? Why are you being so good to this animal? They will get cold. We don't, God forbid, we want the animal to get cold. If you remove the sheep, so you put the oil in it. No, it's not it. It's Ella Yasser Papar Shmuel Kamedur of Chisa. The Yasser Vikomar Bashasha Koras Leilaid. When it will go ahead and basically be ready to in labor to give birth, Taimnullah Shnei Azikin Shalshem, and they used to go ahead and take, right, also 2 containers of oil, Menichla al Patchasa, when they put one on her Patchasa, on her forehead, V'echad al Harechem, and one on the womb, Kadei Shetischanim, in order that the animal while giving birth should be warm. Similarly, Rav Nachman, Inkena Sisa Yalasa, right? You made her like Yalasa, as fragile as Yalasa, who was the wife of Rav Nachman. Basically, a similar term. We're not looking to give our sheep spa treatments. Right? There used to be this type of wood out in the seas, and the chanun shemo is called the chanun. And they used to go ahead and take a splinter there. They used to go ahead and basically take the splinter of wood and put it in its nose and the nostrils, and it would basically cause the animal to sneeze. And when it would sneeze, it would get out whatever bugs or whatever was inside the animal, basically to clean it out. So therefore, that was what it was referring to when it said chanunos, right? That was from the term of this wood of chanun. So ihachi. So why is it just females? Zacharim nami. What about the males? Why only females, not the males? It's a kevan negachi zacharim b'haim mele naflu naflu. So now, since the animals would basically, the males would butt heads, so therefore the bugs would come out that way by butting heads, right? So, but the females, I guess, weren't as didn't butt heads with one another. So therefore, in order to get the bugs or whatever insects inside the nose, they used to go ahead and use a special wood. And Shimon Nazir Omar Kisma derisma. So he said, no, it was a different type of wood. It was called the splinter of risma wood. So Bishlam de Rav Huna, I understand the third interpretation, always said, because they use the word v'chanun shemo hainetani chanunos. It's called chanunos, coming for the word, the name of the wood, chanun. El Rabbanan, but according to the other 3 opinions, the first 2 opinions that had to do with the oil that you put on the animal to keep it warm, either at birth or when you shear it, or the last one, different rosemwood. Right, so milsa demarachin alayu. Not because it comes for the word chanun, right? Chanun, like you're asking, it's like a supplication. So you're asking for mercy, right? So such a thing is chanun, in other words, in order upon the animal while it's giving birth or while it's cold, and so therefore it was called chanunos. Fine. So instead, a calf cannot go out with gimon. Samai egel begimon. What does it mean that a calf should not go out with gimon? So Amar Rav Huna Bar Nira Amar Rebbe Elazar. My mashma the high. Excuse me. So Amar Rav Huna Bar Nira Amar Rebbe Elazar. My mashma the high gimon lishna demichav. All right. So it says, where do we see that this word gimon means to go ahead and bend down? The chsiv halchuf ka'agman rosho. Right. So the word gimon, right, is referring to basically like it was a small yoke they used to go ahead and wear on the younger animals, and the calves before they become a larger animal, an ox, to go ahead and pull a plow. They used to go ahead and train it as at a young age. So they would basically go ahead and put these gimon upon the calves at a young age in order to teach them to basically have their head down and to get used to pulling a plow. So therefore, it was called the gimon. So where do we see? And the gimon used to help them, keep their heads down while they pull. So where do you see the word gimon means to bend down? So the pasuk says, right? Like one bends his head down, ka'agmon, right? Agmon is like a fish hook. So in other words, that it bent its head down like a fish hook. Therefore, we see that that's the word of gimon. So we said that, and the Mishnah said that the cows would not go out with any sort of things between their horns. Right now, they used to go ahead and basically cover the udders of the animals, so these different bugs and different insects would not basically go ahead and damage the udders, and therefore they would be covered with with these covers, and those are not permitted on Shabbos because one would come, if they fell off, one would come to carry it. And also now with a strap between its horns. So if it's according to Rav we saw earlier, he holds that even if it's for decoration or for shmira, even if it's extra protection between the horns, that would be aser, then you can't wear the strap. And either Shmuel, if it's according to Shmuel, and no aser. If it's for decoration or to go ahead and beautify the animal, then it's aser. However, the shomer, but if it's for extra protection, then it'll be mutter. Then if it's to help secure the animal, then that would be permitted according to Shmuel, even if it's extra shmira. And we said Parasasha Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah would have one. So v'chad para, first of all, he only had one cow. V'chad para havi like. I've Amarav Amarili Amarav Yehuda Amarav Tracer Alfe Igla Havi Meister Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah Ma'adria Kol Shasa v'Shasa. Right. So he said that his Meister Behema, his 1/10, right, his 1/10 of an animal every year was 12,000 animals. Right. He had 120,000 animals born to him every year. Right. He had he was extremely wealthy. So I say the par, right, the cow of Rabbi Eliezer ben Azariah. Ella, so Tana loy shalo. I said no. It says no, it wasn't his. Ella al shchinasai. It was his neighbor. And since he didn't protest and say, hey, why are you letting your cow go out on Shabbos, right? Having this thing to identify the cow, maybe for a noy or for shmira, it's forbidden to do. And since he didn't go ahead and protest, right, and stop her from doing it, therefore, basically, it was like called upon him. It was basically like he was the one who, like, it was his cow. And Rab Chanina, Rab Yochanan, Rab Chaviva Masnu, so they taught. And however, the Masnu B'Kulus, the Seder Moek, he called Hai Zuga, Chalfi Rab Yochanan, Mali Rab Yonis. And it says, anytime you have these four together, Rab Chanina, Rab Yochanan, and Rab Chaviva. So when you have all of them together, right, take out, some say take out Rab Yochanan and put in Rab Yonasan, right? So Rab Yochanan was in the third one, it was Rab Yonasan. Anyways, what do they say? Kol mi she'efshar limchais la'anshe beisav lo'imicha nitfas al anshe beisav. Whoever lives in a house and has the ability to stop those in his house from doing wrong, and he doesn't stop them, he has the ability to stop and he doesn't stop them, he gets punished with those who get with his household. In other words, if a person can stop someone from sinning, and he doesn't stop them, then it's also upon him. If he can stop the people of his city from doing averas, and nitfas al anshe iro, and he doesn't stop them, then he's punished along with the people of the city. B'cholam kulo, with amongst all the Jews. Kulo nitfas kulo b'cholam kulo nitfas al kol kulo. Then he's punished with all the Jews, right? And Amar Papa v'haini the bay Reish Kulusa from the house Reish Kulusa nitfas al kuli alma, right? The entire world. If he can prevent the entire world from sinning, and he doesn't, right? Then it's upon him. Kihad Amar B'Chanina, like what Rabbi Chanina said. My dixi was pasuk mean. Hashem b'mishpa yavo im ziknei amo what's called v'sarav. So it says, and Hashem will judge the zikanim, right, of the people and their officers. So if the officers sinned, So Zakeni, my chatu, what does Zakanim do? What do the elders do? Rather, the elders are actually the Zakanim, right? Are punished because of the fact they didn't stop the officers. In other words, if you have the ability to stop someone from sinning and you do not, then basically it also goes upon the person who could have prevented the person from doing an Avera. And we will stop here. Everyone have a wonderful day. Shkoyach.